next guest is the creator of a terrific British series. If you haven't seen it, you must see it. It's great, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, Foyle.
We're crazy for it.
Yeah.
It's a show called Foyle's War, which is available on DVD and streaming on Acorn TV. Take a look at this.
And anyway, it's ridiculous to think that Professor Fraser is passing on secrets to the Russians. He hates them.
Oh, I love that show. Anthony Horowitz, everybody. Anthony Horowitz. All right, Anthony, I know.
Audience.
People are...
Oh my God!
People are crazy for the show.
I can't believe that. That is so cool. I'm on American TV, and what a great audience! I can't believe it.
I tell you, this audience and the audience that are coming in on Friday are the ones I'm looking forward to. But I have to say, I am such a fan of your the show that you created.
That's my show. That's right.
Yes,
yeah.
It's really very good. Well done.
Thank you very much. You know, every time you talk about it, someone tweets me, so I know you've been talking about it.
Oh, I have.
You know,
yeah, and I've got a hat. I wear my foil hat sometimes, like this.
It suits you.
Thank you. And I do my impression of Michael Kitchen, which is a little bit. You've been very naughty, and you're going to jail, and I think that's what's going to happen to you.
A question mark at the end of every sentence. That's how he does
but
it.
he's a very compelling actor who plays Foyle, Michael Kitchen, who I tried to get on the show, and you
cannot get him on the show. When we signed him up, his first rule was no publicity. And if you ask him why no publicity, he won't tell you because that's publicity. So he won't answer.
Wow.
He never tells you anything.
I see. That makes me like him even more.
But it means that I get to do all the publicity myself, and that makes it a writer's show. So I'm not sorry about it.
No, I think it's very good. What on earth are you doing in Los Angeles, if you don't mind me saying?
I've come over for lots of reasons. I'm writing a movie for Disney, and I came down to meet a wonderful writer called Herman Wouk. You must know him. Kane Mutiny. He was 99 years old. I met him in Palm Springs last week, and he was sitting there writing a novel. Can you believe that? 99, and he's still going, and he is one of the greatest American writers, a hero of mine, and I have a hope that after Foyle, I'd love to adapt the Kane Mutiny.
Whoa. Just hold on a second. What do you mean after Foyle?
Well, Craig, you know...
No.
Now, all good things. I've written 24 two-hour movies of that show now. You have no idea how many people I've killed, how many suspects, how many clues.
Wait. How many... what number are we on? 1929. We're on 1,929 episodes. You have no many people. How many people I've had to listen to their crap.
Yeah, but at least no one has to write it. That's the difference.
That's true. No, you're right.
Just the monologues, maybe.
Just the monologue a little bit, yeah. But are you tired of it?
No, of course I'm not tired. I love it. It's been a passion of mine. I've been doing it with... My wife is a producer, and we've been married 26 years. And of that... Yeah, thank you.
That's the kind of thing that lets people know you're not from around here.
Well, she told me to say that. She's backstage somewhere, and she'd have been a little annoyed if I hadn't mentioned it. But for half our marriage, we have been working together on this show. So some people argue about how many dishes, whose turn is it to wash up or to put the kids to bed. We argue about how many Spitfires I'm allowed to shoot down.
It's such a... I mean, did you grow up in that area? Did you grow up in the... Hastings, of course, set in the south coast of England, very close to where the Nazis came up to during Second World War, and it was right in the thick of it. Is that where you're from? Or?
No, I'm from London. I was born in London, and originally we were going to shoot in London. It was originally called The Blitz Detective, but we decided that Hastings was more interesting because it was as close to the front line as you could get. You know, you could actually hear the guns going off just across the channel. It was that close. So it seemed an interesting place to set the series. But the whole thing began with my nanny, a lady called Fitz. You're seeing Honeysuckle Weeks in a few weeks.
Honeysuckle Weeks, yes.
She's coming on the show.
Lovely actress.
She plays Sam, but my nanny used to tell me stories of the war when I was a little boy, and that's how it all began, with Fitzy telling me her war was just, it was alcohol and it was men. That was the whole thing to her. She had a great time, but...
Sounds like the 80s to me.
But just somehow it got into my blood, and I always wanted... I did a lot of murder shows in Britain, and I thought, let's do one set in the war and tell stories.
You know, it's funny. I think Britain is so haunted, particularly British writers are particularly haunted by that particular period. If you look even at the Harry Potter series, which is almost a retelling of the Second World War in places, that, you know, she goes to the setting up of the different camps, and it's going to be all right.
Voldemort as Hitler.
Yeah, all that stuff, yeah. And even the Daleks in Doctor Who, which sound like cartoon Nazis, you know that, we are talking like this, so we're going to shoot you. Yeah.
Permanent
and
Nazi
the permanent
salute, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that Britain, and every time I go to Britain, there's always fabulous documentaries about the Second World War, and You wrote about the Battle of Britain. I think it was series 2.
Yeah, Foyle's Son is a pilot.
Foyle's Son's a pilot, which I think is one of the more... It's like the story of the 300, that history. You know, like these... Was it 900 pilots against the entire Luftwaffe?
You know, I often say that Britain was great, really great 3 times. And it was the same greatness. The court of King Arthur, all those young knights who went out and, you know, did all the fighting. Then the court of Queen Elizabeth with Raleigh and Drake. And then the Second World War with those extraordinary young men, some of them just 19 or 20 years old, straight out of college, getting into planes and saving us. In 1940, we came so close to losing the war. I mean, you know, Battle of Britain decided it. That was the time of it. And that's been something... And I was on the set, and we had a Spitfire that was flying, and it's a strange thing. I didn't grow up in the war. I was born in '55, but hearing the sound of that Spitfire, the turning, the throbbing of that engine, it just brought tears to my eyes. It was something about it that was so memorable, and it summed up so much.
That's, I think, that when I think about Britain's greatness, I think of these times you're talking about. That time, at the time of Queen Elizabeth, which you mentioned, which I thought was the smartest businesswoman that ever ran a corporation. Like, well, what she did with Sir Walter Raleigh, who was a pirate. I thought, this is what the corporations in America have to understand about pirating. When they say pirate, so this pirate is trying to steal our stuff. And Elizabeth said, he's not a pirate, he works for me. And he becomes a privateer. You now work for the crown. Instead of taking internet pirates, you just go, no, come and join the company. You now work for us.
If you're a pirate in England, they knight you. That's right.
That's right. It's a very interesting way of going about business, and I'm all for it, actually. Anyway, listen, congratulations on this thing. It really is quite the tour de force. I'm very taken with it. If you haven't seen the show, you must see the show, or we're no longer friends. Anthony Horowitz, everybody.